What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another retro collecting segment with your boy Sega Man. This is Retro Collecting with me, and I have another vintage system to show you guys. Now, I did a little thing on this a while back. I think a while back. But some of you guys that are new to the channel probably never seen this system. And this has a little bit of a touchy, memorable years of my childhood, because this was actually my first system. My first system was actually not an Atari, not a regular Nintendo. This system was really near and dear to my heart. Actually, this system was actually better than the Atari. And it was out there during the Atari ages and days, and it was more expensive than the Atari. As you say, back in those early days, it probably was the rich person's game system, where you got a little bit more better quality colors in your gaming, graphics in your gaming. And not only that, this system can do one other thing which was really, really cool. Some of you already might know what I'm talking about. And we're going to show you some of the games that I have for it. And I'm going to show you the system and what this bad boy did back in the day, which is really awesome. I had hours and hours of fun with this. My cousins, when they were younger too, like my cousin Kevin, when he was younger, he had a lot of fun with this game system I had. And actually, back in the day, this was my mother's boyfriend's game system, and he gave it to me because he got tired of playing it. He played it on one of those big, huge TVs because he worked for the city and he made good money back in the early 80s. And he had one of those huge TVs that had the projection screen where the lights screwed into the TV base. Real big TV, very nice TV back then. Like, top of the line back then. He had top of the line stuff back then because he liked electronics back then. He had top of the line TV and the system at the time. So let's get into it. Today we're going to talk about my very first system, and I'm going to tell you some things also it can do that might surprise you. This is the original ColecoVision. This is the ColecoVision. Check that out, man. Yes, it's very vintage looking. People are like, wow, that's pretty old, and it is, But it was different. And as you can see on the front, it says ColecoVision right there. There's a little slot right there, and I'll tell you what that's for later. And these are the controllers that went with it, that came with it. Kind of looks like a calculator pad almost, right? Maybe like a telephone pad kind of, right? So we're going to get into that, and what's cool about this is that they actually fit perfectly in the system. And if you look at it, it looks like an old phone cord, right? 2 action buttons on the side right there. These buttons were used for different things. So when the game would come on, you would get a menu, a blue menu, blue and white menu, and it will determine what type of, I guess I forgot if it was what type of difficulty you wanted some of the games to be. This is a little dusty, a little bit, my controller, because I've been down in the cellar. But it did different types of things, you know what I mean? It was really cool. I can't remember everything it did in the menu, but it gave you a lot of options back then. This actually comes out. This is actually number 2. Controller, but that's what it looks like, and this is your joystick here, and you would use these as your shooting buttons or whatever that function was for, depending on what game you played in the ColecoVision. But what's really cool about this also is that you can actually use a Sega Genesis controller on this, and it plays perfectly because it is the same port as the Sega Genesis. So you could put a regular 3-button Sega Genesis controller in this, and it's easier for you if you don't like this controller that came with the ColecoVision. It's easier for you to use if you're used to a Sega Genesis controller. So that's what was really cool about this ColecoVision also, is that you can use a Sega Genesis controller in there. A system that came, further down the line. So again, and then in the back here, it has the power pack plug back here. TV in and out right here. Channel 3 and 4 right here. Very basic, right? Now on the back, it just gives you a description of, it says ColecoVision, the serial number. This was actually made in the U.S. This is made in the U.S. system. It says on the back that it was made in the U.S. You might not be able to see it as well, but this was made in the U.S. And this is very collectible system right now. You know what I mean? It's not going to be cheap. It's not going to be too expensive. But it'll go over well over $100 if you want to collect for the ColecoVision. Because it was really one of the sought-after systems back then. People couldn't afford it because I think back in those days it was, can't remember what the original price to look it up, but I'm going to say around the 200 mark, maybe a little more. It might have been more because I know it was way more than the Atari because it's more advanced than the Atari. So, and it had great games on it also. So, this is actually the power pack for this bad boy. Kind of big, huh? Kind of like almost as big as a 360 power pack. Kinda. The 360 one is way bigger. But this is the original power pack for the ColecoVision. To be honest with you guys, if you go out online and you try to find the original parts for this, and let's say you have a ColecoVision, you can end up paying $60 or $70 for an original power pack for this. Now, they're going to have probably second, third parties maybe for the ColecoVision. I never researched that, but I'm pretty sure there's something out there. But if you're going to want to find like the original power packs and different stuff like that for the system, it's going to cost you a pretty penny. 50, maybe $60, man. Even the controllers are going to cost you maybe $20, $30. If you want the original controllers. Those are really, really hard to find. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. So, that's the power pack, guys. This is the old school hookup for the TV. Now, this one's kind of broken. So, I have to get another one. I have another one downstairs. But, this is very old school. This was made with metal TV antenna and game to TV VHF. That's very old. But that's what you would use, guys, back in the day to switch from TV to game. Right there. TV to game. And it has some wear and tear. You can see it's broken right there because this is so old. But I have another one downstairs. I actually have a couple of these things downstairs. Like when I would go to flea markets and Goodwills, I would pick them up for 50 cents, $1, and just keep 4 or 5 of them. Just in case I would come across an old retro system like an Atari or a ColecoVision. And you would have it, and you could still put this in the back. Believe it or not, some of the 4K TVs still have that coaxial in the back. Believe it or not, my new 4K TV has that in the back. It has that, and it has the HDMIs, but it doesn't have the A and V cables like the red, yellow, white. Not in back of there. Some of the TVs get rid of some stuff, and then put other stuff on there. Or you'd be lucky and have everything back there. But a lot of TVs, I think they're trying to move away from that stuff. But this is what it would look like, guys, if you wanted to hook this up to your TV. That's the original part right there. That part goes in through there, and through the other part it will go through the ColecoVision. So that is the original part adapter to hook up for the ColecoVision. I'm showing you everything in its entirety. This is the cord that goes with it. The cord would go in the back of this. Boom, there you go. But, at my exchange, they made this thing which is really cool. You know how there's a coaxial on the back and you can screw it on? You know how you would screw on it, an old Nintendo system would have it would have where you screw it on the back, what is it? The TV converter part you put in the back of the Nintendo. You would screw it on the back so you could play the Nintendo, right? But they made something where I can put that on here. I just put it on here. It's a little piece, and I just screw it in, to the back of the TV and I can still play my ColecoVision like that. I don't need this. And it actually works, which is really awesome. So I use that, and that's it. I don't even have to use the old school plug-in for that anymore. So this is the actual cord that goes with the ColecoVision. So I'm going to show you the last thing, and I'm going to show you some of the games that I have. I didn't bring them all up. But this bad boy is really awesome. This thing probably will cost as much as this system, or maybe even more, because this has actually become very rare oddity of the ColecoVision. And this bad boy was awesome, right? This is the expansion module 1. You can insert Atari games in this bad boy, and you can play Atari 2600 games in there. I don't think it plays. No, I don't think it plays the 7800. I think it plays all Atari 2600 games. So you take this bad boy, and you plug it in the front of the ColecoVision. So this is kind of cool, guys, for one reason. Maybe I believe, if I'm right, the ColecoVision actually started backwards compatibility. The ColecoVision, I believe, started not backwards compatibility, but where you can play other games on a different system. You can play Atari games on there. Not really back compat, I guess, right? But you can play another company's games of your choice, Atari games, on the ColecoVision. So they must have had some deal back then where you can do that. You don't even have to buy an Atari. You can put your Atari games in your expansion module and play Atari games and ColecoVision games, which is really, really awesome. And this bad boy has the original sticker and patent on the back. You know what I mean? It even has a number where you can call and, you know, I guess ask questions. And this was actually manufactured in New York, actually, and it has an address on the back, as you can see, guys. So yeah, this is the expansion module. And that bad boy, and Sega Man will show you real quick. That's what that slot is for. The expansion module. You just put that bad boy in there. Might be a little rough to get in there. There you go. And that's what the whole thing would look like in its entirety. Yes, I got to move back because it's big. But that's what it would look like, man, if you wanted to play it. It has the ports on the front where you could still use those Sega Genesis controllers. And you can play Atari 2600 games in this, which is really awesome. So, if I wanted to actually sell the ColecoVision with the expansion module, I could get a good chunk of change. Because you just don't see this bad boy anymore, you know? You just don't see this bad boy anymore. But yeah, that's cool, man, and I like it. I like it because, you know, they were, you know, a little bit more advanced than the other systems that were out there, like the Odyssey, the Atari, you know, different systems like Intellivision and stuff like that. They were a little bit more advanced. So yeah, the expansion module will cost you a pretty penny, guys. You know what I'm saying? It might cost you about maybe over $100, 90, 80 bucks, I don't know. Depends on who's selling it, but it's not going to be cheap. You're not going to get it for 20 bucks. I guarantee you that. But yeah, it's going to cost you because it's a rarity. And it went to the ColecoVision. So that is the expansion module. A little bit of more of a close up. But yeah, that's it, guys. All right. All right, guys, let's get back into it. Now, what we're going to show here is we're actually going to show some games. Now, this ain't all my games, but these are some of the games I picked out. So, let's show an oldie but goodie game that was good for it. Great graphics. ColecoVision presents by Nintendo. Donkey Kong. The Donkey Kong that we used to play in the arcades when we were younger, or laundromats or something like that. Donkey Kong, man. And they actually did a pretty good job on the graphics and sound. You know what I mean? It wasn't super arcade perfect, but it was goddamn close. Goddamn close. So if you wanted to play your Donkey Kong at home, you could play it on the Atari 2600 and stuff like that. But this had the better graphics. It looked way better on the ColecoVision. That's why the ColecoVision was expensive, because it came very close very close to the arcade one that you would play in your local malls, or like I said, mom and pop candy stores, laundromats and stuff like that. Donkey Kong was a great game to have on a ColecoVision. Now this one here, Cosmic Avenger. I can't remember exactly what this game was about, guys. I can't remember exactly. But this is Cosmic Avenger for the ColecoVision. This game came out in 1981 or 82. It's another, I can't remember what Cosmic Avenger was about. I don't know if it was a side-scrolling adventure shooter. But this here is, let me get this off here. This stuff is old, man. But this is Cosmic Avenger for the ColecoVision. Cosmic Avenger. Yeah, notice how the tapes are pretty retro. You know what I mean? They were made pretty good. Pretty solid tapes. So yeah, that's the Cosmic Avenger. Now, my favorite game in the arcade that I played a lot back then, and they actually made this for the Super Nintendo, and it's expensive right now. If you can find it, it's going to be over a $90, $100 mark. I used to have it, and my dumb butt sold it to get some other type of games. This is for the ColecoVision and the Atom Family Computer System, so it worked in both. So you can kind of say it's a back and pack game, I guess, or works in an Atom computer. This game actually came out in 1982, and it is Mr. Do. Mr. Do was a great game to play in the arcades. I played this a lot in a little shop, in a little food mart, from my hometown. Mr. Do is a great game, man. And some of you guys out there, the OG guys that are from my era, would remember this game, like He-Bot and E-Rock, and I think other Zinc and them. I don't know, Unlimited might, and I'm pretty sure Tuck, Dia, probably. But yeah, this is Mr. Do. Mr. Do, guys. And I'm pretty sure 100 probably heard of it also. Very good, fun game, man. It was like kind of like a Dig Dug, but the guy looks like a clown. He kind of pushes like stuff onto the little characters to make them fall down. He didn't really dig, but he was like kind of like underground. He would push like these cart-looking things and stuff onto the, the little characters in there that would try to get to you. So Mr. Do, man, is a good old classic game for the ColecoVision. This is another one that came out in 1983, and it actually is based on the hit from MGM movie. Can you guess what this game is, guys? A lot of you guys remember, or gamers out there probably never even heard of the movie. This was a great game great movie back in the day, and a pretty decent game. It was a good movie a lot of people checked out back in the 80s, and that is the game called War Games. War Games was actually a movie, and they made a video game after it, which was really, really cool. Really, really awesome, man. And it's for the Coleco and the Atom computer again. So that is War Games. So some of you guys have heard the movie and probably seen the movie back in the day, but it was a big hit in the box office, back then, War Games. So they made a video game after it. So they were making movie games even back then. Even in the Atari 2600 days they were. So that is War Games. Another one we have here for the ColecoVision that came out in 1980, 82. Another great, pretty decent game is called Space Panic, if I did say that right. Space Panic. I can't remember if Space Panic was another shoot 'em up or a side-scrolling adventure. I can't remember, guys. My memory's not clicking with me today. But it's pretty cool. Basic cover, but it's called Space Panic for the ColecoVision. Some of you guys have heard of the game, I'm pretty sure, and have played it. But that is Space Panic, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool for ColecoVision. Another one we got here is called Slither. I can't remember what this game. It's for the Atom and the ColecoVision. I think this is some kind of a snake game. I can't remember, guys. I'm sorry. But this is called Slither. And what I like about some of these front of these covers is they're actually pretty cool looking covers. You know what I mean? They're not plain black and white with just a name on it. It has a little graphic to it, but this is called Slither for the Atom computer and the ColecoVision. But I can't remember the game that much, guys. Some of these in here I'm not going to remember. But I know I did try it out. It was pretty good. Now, this one here is an official. It's called Space Fury. And this game is actually by, and it came out in 1981. This game is by Sega. My favorite OG old school company, Sega. And this is called Space Fury. It plays on the ColecoVision. Not too much to see in the front. But that's another game. I believe this was a shoot 'em up or space game. But yeah, that's another one. I can't remember, guys. It might not be. I can't remember because it's been a long time since I played them. But that's another game that was on the ColecoVision. What do we have here? I'll just show you guys just to show you. But this actually can play in the expansion module. As you can see, I put it in. Found this game at the flea market. If you can see that whopping price, 50 cents. Right? What game you say it is, Sega Man? The Atari 2600 old school game of Miss Pac-Man. Yeah, it's beat up pretty bad. So whoever played this game played the hell out of it. Got their money's worth, right? Well, I got my money's worth. I got it for 50 cents. So that is Miss Pac-Man with a nice little cool graphic on the front. Kind of beat up. But this played, you can play Atari 2600 Miss Pac-Man in your expansion module for your ColecoVision, which is really cool. Next one we got here, Victory. Now, if I'm right, this is Victory for the Atom and ColecoVision. This game came out in 1982. Yes. I believe this is a racing game. So that is Victory for the Atom and the ColecoVision. Not a bad racing game. I do remember kind of playing this. But that is Victory. And I'm pretty sure I'm right, guys, that it is a racing game, if my memory serves me correct. But that's another great game that you could play on your ColecoVision. Now, oh, you guys are going to flip out when I tell you this, man. I have another one downstairs. I don't want to say what the game is. I'll have to dig it out and show you. This is another game that was on, I think it played on it. If this is this an Atari game? I think this is an Atari game. This is not a ColecoVision game because it went right into the expansion module. I don't think this is a ColecoVision game. Let me double check. No, this is actually an Atari game, right? This game could actually be worth some money. I found this in a whole pile of Atari games I bought for a few dollars, man, a long time ago. And that is the TV show. They made a game by 20th Century Fox. It says Game of the Century. Believe it or not. And it is from a great TV show that your parents watched while you were growing up. And they made you watch it with them when you were eating those old school Hungry Man Jack TV dinners with the family. Because you couldn't watch what you wanted to watch. Whatever your mom and pop were watching, you had to watch it. And a lot of you guys know that this was one of their favorite shows on TV. That actually is critically acclaimed. And they made a game after it, and it's called MASH. You guys remember the TV show called MASH? MASH, yes, had a video game for the Atari 2600 by 20th Century Fox. Now, this might actually be worth a little chunk of change. I'm not going to say it's going to be worth like hundreds and hundreds of dollars. But MASH actually had a video game for the Atari 2600, and I bet a lot of you guys didn't know this. But yes, there was an official game based on MASH, the TV series, that you could play on your Atari 2600. How about that? Nice little graphic in the front. Not bad. A little graphic there. Not bad. Not bad. And on the back, it even has a little logo of 20th Century Fox embedded in there, which is really cool. Now, I was trying to see if I could see a date on here to tell you guys, but it actually doesn't have a date on here. But yes, it is the video game MASH. All right. One of my favorite games on a ColecoVision that is really awesome. To me, this is one of one of the best games that ever showed off the graphic and color of the ColecoVision and what the ColecoVision could do. This is a great game. This is a sought after game, and it is up in price. And it started on TV. It was on TV first, and it blew up real big. When we were young kids, they had a cereal, they had toys, everything. And man, was the cereal bomb. Tasted so good. It was a nice blueberry, milky, nice flavory cereal. And some of you might know where I'm heading to. ColecoVision had a game called The Smurfs. Rescue in Gargamel's Castle. The Smurfs had a game back then, guys, on the ColecoVision. The Smurfs are still relevant today. They have movies and newer games that they brought out for the Xbox Series S and X, or Xbox One, and the PlayStations and all that, and whatever have you. But the Smurfs was on the old school ColecoVision. And this game came out in 1982. The Smurfs. Pretty awesome, right? Guess you guys didn't know ColecoVision had a Smurf game. But this is sought after. This is a collectible game in a gym for the ColecoVision because it showed the power of the ColecoVision. The colors were beautiful. The graphics were awesome. It's a side-scrolling adventure. And this will probably cost you a little bit. Not expensive, but it's going to cost you more than like $5 or a couple bucks. It's up there, I believe. So, the Smurfs for the ColecoVision. And last but not least, another one that a lot of people loved back in the day. A really cool game ColecoVision presents, and you guys know this, and it's by Nintendo again. And this came out in 1983, if I'm correct. I can't see it very well because it's an older tape. Donkey Kong Jr. You guys remember Donkey Kong Jr.? Another great game that was in the arcades, in the candy stores. You remember the penny candy stores you can go into? They would have arcade machines in there. You buy $50 worth of cherry bombs and you know, Now Laters and Alexander the Great, just to name a few. Lemon heads, you know, bottle caps, all that stuff, right? All that stuff back then. You guys would buy in the penny candy store. And in the background, you would see Donkey Kong Jr., and possibly Pac-Man or any other kind of cabinets back then in the day. It's your boy Sega Man taking you back to the old retro days. And this is Donkey Kong Jr., guys, for the ColecoVision. So that is the last one I have to show you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this segment of retro collecting with Sega Man. The ColecoVision is awesome, guys. You can buy ColecoVision games built in like into its disc. Like I think they had a mini ColecoVision you could buy. I think they brought out, if I remember correctly. I don't know if it's on computer. It might be. You guys let me know in the comment section below where you can play them that way. And yes, I hope you guys really enjoyed the video, man. And I will see you guys soon. Well, I'm going to get going, guys. I have to go to work later. I need to get some lunch. So big shout out to everybody that supports my channel, my podcast, my podcast brothers and members and everything. And Miss Dia, big shout out to Miss Dia for joining us and being part of our productions of stuff that we do when it comes to podcasting. Big shouts out to Miss Dia, 4568, the first lady of chat, named from Smitty Smith. All right, guys, take care. Have a great rest of the week. Happy gaming, happy hunting. I will see you soon, guys. Peace.